Hello, folks. Welcome to the Community Curation podcast. I am your host, the Gothic Storyteller, and with us to our left, I still fuck it up, the one and the only, the horror historian. How you doing, Adam?
I'm doing great. Before she moves, someone else wants to say hi real quick.
Oh, we're getting animal cameo. We got
We're starting
Jericho.
with it. She's getting a little antsy, so we're saying hi real quick.
Oh, hi, Jericho. Such a pretty kitty.
Oh, she is my everything.
We have a cat like that named Salem. He's a fucking demon.
All right, you can get down now. It's fine.
She's all like, I've been made into content
She's
for
had
someone
enough.
else. Yeah.
She's had enough.
She's camera shy. She don't like the camera.
She's like being held for very long. So she'll jump up in like another 5 minutes and she'll be right back. But yeah.
Oh my god. Folks, this is the last live show that I am doing for the year 2025, and what better way to what did kids say, crash out? Than to sit there and discuss with the one and only horror historian, the Tremors franchise. That's right, the big worms, not from Dune and not from Star Wars, but from
the better ones.
Perfection Nevada, right?
Perfection
Nevada and everything. So we're going to cover that here on the show. But before we get into, I don't even know how to really describe these films. Gruesome, schlock,
PG-13 creature feature horror comedy has been my go-to for them.
Especially after like the first one. They really do reach the horror comedy levels.
Oh, I thought the first one was hysterical. I didn't realize it was a horror film the first time I watched it.
I think they tried to... probably that could also be the comedy of it all, is that they're not trying to be funny, but the situation in itself is funny.
I always thought they were hysterical. Like, I don't know, maybe I was just a really warped kid.
But before we jump into these films, we are going to get to know our guests and everything. So we definitely need to know, who is the horror historian?
And like the part that I'm the least good at. Yeah, I am Twitch's own horror game preservationist, the first and only. Make videos on YouTube. You saw Jay, who is my more important half. I am so bad at self-promotion, it's ridiculous.
I mean, technically you're getting self-promotion just being on the show.
I know, I'm really bad at it though.
Oh,
but
yeah.
You brought up like, well, how long you been streaming? And I'm like, I better look that up because I don't know.
You don't even know your stream. You know what? Like, I don't even remember my stream anniversary or like the year, like the exact date from the year that I started. All I got to do is just like kind of like try to like backtrack and remember. I was like, all right, well, what happened during the pandemic? It started during the pandemic, and that already in there is a can we switch to Discord audio? There's a little bit of an imbalance and everything. I did turn HH up because he was like a little low. Let me know now and everything.
How am I sounding? Am I sounding good?
Yeah, I think you're good and everything. Like you're not peaking, you know, out of it, you know. Oh, Tin Can friend. Well, he can't help it. That's in his room.
Well, hold on. Let me just see.
Scorpi is our audio snob and everything. So, like, anytime she lets me know when the audio sounds like crap, she's all like, "It sounds tin canny."
How's that? Do I sound a little better now? Hopefully I do.
It's the last live show. Like, you know, at this point, it's like...
The same. I got nothing then.
She's just projecting what I'm saying. Thank you, Osmo. Everything. The audio sounds great for me. It's like some people and everything. I just think that, you know, it's the room and everything. So yeah, it does sound tin canny and everything. But like,
yeah, we are in a brand new building yet again, and the building kind of fits my lore as a person as well. Do you know what an ice house is?
What is that?
So way back in the day, before we had refrigerators with electricity in it, you had to go to the local ice house to buy a block of ice to put in your ice chest. That's what this building is. I am surrounded by 18 inches of concrete.
There you go. That's why, Scorpi.
And we've tried to make some fixes, including adding sound panels, but I need to add a heck of a lot more.
Yeah. So it's just a building structure. There we go, folks. You guys got history from the horror historian. So yeah, Scorp is gonna have a fit all throughout stream. Oh well.
Sorry, Scorpi.
But
I do a lot of filtering on my end when I stream and when I do YouTube videos because I do know that this building is god awful for sound. So there's that.
So how long have you actually been streaming?
I had to look it up. First, I created my channel June 28th of 2017, so I've been doing this for quite a while.
2017, so about 8 years?
Yep.
You're coming on 8 years? Oh, hell yeah.
8 years. I took about a year and a half off, but stayed over on YouTube, just decided to quit streaming for a while, and then came back to it about a year ago.
Okay. I do remember you did take a bit of the break and everything, and then it's like
so
it's
nice.
Like, so why'd you come back then?
Well, I mean, the honest answer is I'm trying to promote my YouTube channel. Like, to be blunt, like, that's the reason why I came back. And there's a lot of people, like, I would have just not come back to Twitch at all, but there was a lot of people that I missed. And it felt kind of weird. A lot of people I started with are all gone now. Like, I'm one of the last people.
I feel that with a lot of the people I first started with, like the people that like inspired me to stream, they no longer stream no more. Like they have their own families. They found like other interests. Words are hard today, folks. But other interests that like to them they wanted to, focus and shift gears there. And so I'm like, but who am I supposed to watch now at like 8:00 p.m. when I'm like struggling to sleep? And they're like, it's Twitch. There's a bunch of people on there with insomnia. You can find quite a bit. And then
but everyone's like toning down their stuff. I've been ramping my nonsense up.
But so you've been streaming for practically almost 8 years and everything. What made you want to be a horror gaming preservationist, and when like how long have you been actually doing that?
Oh man. Not nearly as long as my channel. So I'm about to sound like a horribly shallow person. I started Twitch for money. Like, okay. I was like, man, I want to make just a little bit to cover some of my gaming expenses because there's a lot of games I wanted to buy. I wasn't doing preservation, but there's like some cool old games I wanted to own. I'm like, I'm just going to do this. And then I started researching about maybe 2 years into it, like weird random things like the Silent Hill 2 gold disc. So what they make all the copies of is gone. No idea where it went. It's gone. The original source code for Super Mario Brothers was printed on dot matrix paper. Gone forever.
That one I remember.
I started looking up some of the stuff, and horror games were never really taken care of very well. So they're disappearing every day. And that kind of freaked me out a little bit because, like, I was talking to someone about like old NES games, and there's one called Werewolf: The Last Soldier. No one remembers this freaking game. I played it as a kid, like every day.
I want to sit there and say, like, did Angry Video Game Nerd ever cover that?
Nope.
No?
Nope. I have some interesting thoughts on AVGN.
Was this pre-buyout from their current owners, or?
Oh, I went back and I rewatched a lot of stuff, and like the entertainment value is there, but man, I think it's unwatchable.
I think like if you kind of watch some of the stuff that was like a little bit more modern, you look at it and you're like, some of this is aged poorly, especially maybe some of the humor. And it's like, ooh, if he would have did that today, he'd have been canceled. But
100%.
But like, I think also too, that's what makes some of the older stuff so great. It was cancel like material, and
it was a very different time.
Yeah, it was a very different time. But also too, it's like, I don't know. I liked a lot of the creative aspects of kind of what they went into it. Like, I just love watching him and Bugs Bunny beat the shit out of each other.
That's Bugs Bunny's birthday blowout.
And then there is like the really
I know it too well.
Yeah, you know exactly which one I'm talking about. The one that I physically had to go back into the archives to watch because I saw it in a compilation video a couple of years back I think it was like when they were celebrating an anniversary, and it was showing that I think he was jamming the NES version of Batman '89 up Joker's ass, and I'm
Yeah,
like,
Matt Mattel was playing Joker for that one.
yes, and I'm like, I was like, I love it when he works with that guy and they do stuff, and then I start finding out like, oh, the dissolved friendship. I think they're friends now. Like, I think they just needed some time
I don't
apart.
really know. And it's funny because like that's what I wanted to do initially.
You wanted
And
to
so
jam cartridges up your friend's ass?
listen, we don't shame here. No, but like do like reviews and skits and stuff like that. And I realized real quick, I am not good at skits, like at all. So that was kind of a bummer. But initially, like, yeah, I could do that. Like, no, I can't.
I was about to say, you got a screenwriter right here. I need work. It's like I can easily sit there and pop out one for $15. I'll go that low for you.
Oh, it's not even so much like the writing. I cannot act worth anything. Like I've actually so stupid enough. I've been in like a short film, and I've auditioned for like to be like a serial killer. I can do that. The moment I have to talk, I'm screwed.
I get you. Is it the like the memorization of the lines?
I am more wooden than what's his face who plays Jon Snow in Game of Thrones. It's not very good delivery.
I got you, and everything. So like, you wouldn't be a very popular one during the talkies, but Silent Era, you probably would run the gambit.
Silent Era, I got this.
There you go. Then maybe that's what you need to sit there and do is make your content quote unquote silent. Focus completely on just the narrative of physical acting, and then if you have to explain
that'd be an interesting video.
and then when you explain it, it's all like, okay, so here's the title. Either be lazy and type up the title card or whatever the fuck you're saying, or like just like really bad, like the room level of ADR.
Listen, if you see a video on my channel and it's interpretive dance, you know the reason now.
Oh my god. So horror gaming preservationists, you sit there say that horror games have gotten just shit on. From I guess like an outsider's perspective, I just think gaming preservation just does not get any love, and that it feels
it's
like
actually worse in the US than anywhere else.
Yeah, and it's weird because don't we consume probably most of this? Aren't we like a top consumer?
So the court system has backed preserving like literature and film, and this last year they basically said that video games are not important enough to preserve. So that was actually a big thing in court, which really sucks because this is what I've spent a good portion of like my 30s doing. So yeah, you can go on sites, you can download ROMs, but you lose a lot of other things like the booklet, the CD art, the case art.
Yeah.
That's the stuff that's going away. And at some point, it's going to be gone for good.
Yeah. Like for right now, I think you can get something like that if you spend a whopping $120 just to get some special deluxe game of the year, comes with a statue, and possibly, I know that there's a few gaming companies do it, but like a vinyl of the actual soundtrack, you know?
Like they'll do that for like some special things, but like, I mean, I don't know if maybe this is just me. I remember buying games, sitting in the car on the way home, and by the time I'm home, I already have the entire booklet read. I've looked at all the art. I memorized what the top of the disc looks like. Like that was a huge part of gaming that is like we don't make booklets anymore unless you do like the limited run stuff, which is a company I don't support. A few of the other companies will make some booklets, but it's just going away.
Yeah. And it's just not treated as respectable enough. You know,
the art form of, because that was marketing back in the day, was
yeah,
you couldn't always see a YouTube video or a streamer play your game or what looks good on Game Pass. You could always see cover art in a game store and be like, yo, that's it, that's what we're playing.
it's the equivalency of going to rent out a movie Friday night. You know, it's like
Yeah.
like, am I gonna rent Tremors for the 10th damn time in the week in a row? Fuck yeah, I am. Like, you know.
Oh, I just watched that on HBO. I never rented it.
But like, yeah, you know, when you do mention it, it's like there's been numerous times that I've been, I visited GameStop. Yes, like back then I used to sit there support GameStop because that was the only way we got our physical games. But by the time that we got home, the cellophane wrap was already tore off and everything.
Oh yeah.
I've already studied the controls, so by the time that I get home, which wasn't really that far, it was like probably like a 10-minute drive and everything, but I've already studied that. I've looked at like the synopsis. I already know what this is. You know, I've absorbed.
You knew the story before you even started the game.
To a certain degree, just by the booklet and everything. And then of course sometimes some of those booklets had like the best like what the fuck ads, almost as bad as like Game Informer with some of their ads, and it's like,
oh, Nintendo Power always had my favorites though. They were like some of the worst ads.
Was Nintendo Power, did they stick around a lot longer in Game Informer, or did they just get absorbed into that?
No, Nintendo Power closed significantly before, I'm sure.
Oh, okay, and everything, because you figure Nintendo would have it where it's like, oh, you know what, like, we're going to keep our magazine, we're going to go up against Game Informer, before, assuming it's like,
that's
you know
just
what?
another thing that's disappearing, though, is old video game ads and articles. Like, good luck.
It's like, why? You know, like, I can understand, it's like, well, we can do all this stuff online. It's like, but I feel like so much of the online stuff has now definitely taken away childhood memories that, for one, no other kid today could sit there and remember that unless their dad or mother and everything, like, oh, here are all my magazines from the 90s that somehow I was able to preserve, and mom did not throw them out because they deemed them the devil or some shit like that, you know.
See, that's the stuff I want to exist beyond just, I don't know, like, I still have all my old magazines. I have I didn't have a good game collection until I actually started Twitch, but like I made sure it's like, no, when we buy something, we're getting the case, we're getting the booklet. Mm-hmm. If I can get my hands on the player's guide, like I'm definitely gonna try. Things like that are the stuff that, I mean, pretty soon we're gonna be talking about that, and people are like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah,
booklets,
there's gonna be that
discs.
Well, I mean, like, you can't think about it. Like, I think today you can sit there and say it because there's no magazine. Game Informer's like fucking folded. What, like half a, like, I don't think it's been 10 years yet, but I think 5 years ago, I think Game Informer finally folded and everything.
Was really sad. Like, I know it wasn't the same. I'm giving you treats. Would you please stop scratching me?
Yeah, but like, you know, like there are kids today, like to them, their only way of getting a game is through digital download. Or if they grew up Nintendo, then it's like this little itty bitty, not even a cartridge, it's like this little like microchip. And it's like
a little thumb drive. The Switch chips, which are, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but like we're at the point where we're having to put bittering agents on your cartridges. It's like, oh, I can't anymore. I don't understand where our society is.
Yeah.
Who eats a Nintendo cartridge?
Who eats Tide Pods? Who drinks bleach thinking that it's going to cure them of COVID?
Remember the nutmeg challenge?
More at 11. But yeah, it's like we're slowly cutting out like all this stuff that really made things grand, just for the sake of, well, we can just throw it up on the internet.
Of convenience only. And in reality, like, imagine if you had bought something like an Elden Ring and it had like a full booklet and a map showing the world. Like, that would have been amazing.
Especially,
but now you have to do special edition to get any of that.
Yeah, it's especially getting like a treatment of like what Final Fantasy games back then did. Which, you know, you looked at the game, there are these little sprites, but you open up the manual, beautiful artwork, and it's like...
Beautiful art, and the Prima guides that were made for it.
Yeah.
And...
So the transition at the Elden Ring, that shit right there would be like, this booklet's not leaving the box. It will be preserved. This artwork will be preserved in that box. And, you know, God, we're missing so much of it, but we got to move along from the video games to talk about some great schlock. We got
my introduction to horror films, actually.
And we got 7 films today, folks. So this is the first time we are covering a film franchise for this podcast and everything. I asked him, hey, what are your 3 films that you want to cover? He's like,
Tremors, all of them.
I actually want to cover all of those Tremors. I'm like, all the movies? He's like, yeah. And I'm
okay,
like,
we did agree we don't have to do the show. Although definitely watch the show.
yeah, it's like, well, I was gonna mention like briefly. It's like, oh, we can briefly go through the show because like the shows are kind of like just passed aside. I think I only watched 1 episode back then when it was kind of like
the whole season on DVD.
Jesus Christ. And then of course I went as far on to read the pilot script for the canceled 2018 series. Like, even though like I think it was trying to get released in 2018, but the pilot and everything was filmed in 2017.
Yeah, I guess they canceled it officially in 2018. Sci-Fi's like, yeah, we'll pass.
Well, like, I think some of the stuff that was outside of the screenplay of, I guess, what they were going to describe, what the Graboids were, because Kevin Bacon sat there said that, like, oh, like, our characters, you know, like, my character sits there says that Graboids don't, they're not smart at hunting, they're very dumb. And I'm all like, that's not what the fucking first 3 films. It's like, these were pretty smart animals. Like,
this is the exact opposite of what the films show.
So yeah, like Sci-Fi, there has been like a few YouTubers on there that covered this franchise, and they're like, I kind of feel Sci-Fi dodged a bullet with this series. It's all like,
yeah, I heard that today too.
Yeah, it's like maybe Kevin Bacon described it wrong. I can't remember that line, you know, verbatim in the script because it's been a few weeks since I've read it, but like it's. For me, I feel like that script was more human element of like Val is like a washed up loser, still living in the past. His wife's left him, but his kid's here for like one last visit before she goes off to New Zealand. Or no, Greenland. She's going to Greenland to whatever.
I don't know if I'd want Val back if he didn't bring what's her face with her. The love interest in the first film.
Rhonda.
I have notes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rhonda LeBeck. See, I have notes. There's that much to this. Now,
But
before
like,
we talk about the films, I have a quiz for you, and I warned you about this.
I'm terrible.
And I'm going to give you a starting point because throughout the films, it's going to get a little messy. Can you tell me the life cycle of a graboid, starting with the egg?
The like, you mean like through all of its evolutions?
Yep.
So there's the egg. There's the egg, and then it's the graboid.
Already wrong, but keep going.
Already wrong?
Already wrong.
Okay, so it's the Graboid, and then it's the Shrieker, and then it's the Ass Blaster. And then the Ass Blasters lay the eggs, and then the cycle repeats itself again.
There's actually another one that only appears in 1 film that they even made a video game about for mobile. You missed the Dirt Dragon.
Is that supposed to be, I guess, like the teen or just the infancy?
So it's a smaller worm that propels itself through the air by coiling up and launching itself. Only found in Tremors 4.
I fell asleep to that movie. All I remember is Billy Drago. You know,
I watch that movie once a year, and I didn't remember that.
So it's called a Dirt Dragon?
A Dirt Dragon.
All I'm thinking of is now is just like a little turd, like a rabbit pellet just popping out of the air just to kill you.
That's what they look like.
They look like, oh, Jesus Christ. I mean, it's already bad enough that the poster art that sells this, it looks very phallic, very reminiscent of Jaws, but very phallic. But then when you see the film, it looks like a giant turd that just dried up in toilet paper.
I love, especially like the first 2 movies, the poster art used. It's the same one they use a very similar one for the show. It's just like that, again, that jaws, like the mouths coming up. It's so good. Yeah, and then,
well, I mean, when we get later to like the trilogies like Bloodlines and Code in Hell, it looks like a really bad 90s action film, but like for some reason I get like a little hint of like wrestling pay-per-view posters as well.
Oh, 100%.
Like it's overselling
the bright colors, yeah. I feel
especially for a title called Cold Day in Hell, and it's very vibrant. That's all. Like
focal point is neon yellow.
Yeah, But we're going to start with the first one, directed by Ron Underwood, the original creature feature from 1990, which I can't believe. Like, it feels like this was made a little bit later in the 90s. But this film is the one that started all Tremors. You have Kevin Bacon as Valentine McKee, Fred Ward, my bad, as Earl Bassett, Finn Carter as Rhonda LeBeck, Michael Gross from All in the Family, right?
Was he in All in the Family?
Yeah.
I don't, other than Kevin Bacon, I don't know any of these people. Well, except for like Reba McEntire, who plays Heather. I don't know them from anything outside of Tremors.
Really?
They only exist in
Tremors.
Movies.
So Fred Ward has like he's been in quite a lot of stuff in like the early 2000s. I think he even did what was it? I want to sit there and say I think he also did Apollo 11 with Kevin Bacon, but I think he had like a very small role in that. But somehow he was able to make it in Tremors 2, not Bacon. But yeah, Michael Gross from I think All in the Family. I think he played the dad in that one. He plays Burt Gummer, which is our favorite gun toy.
The best character in the entire franchise. Exactly.
Reba McEntire as his wife Heather. Really wish she came back to do more sequels. I really enjoyed that character.
She was great.
And Victor Wong as Walter Chang. So you had no clue who Victor Wong was before this? You never saw any of the John Carpenter films? Big Trouble in Little China, Prince of Darkness?
I've seen him everywhere, but like the moment like we talk about these characters, nope, they only exist in Tremors.
They only exist in Tremors. Interesting.
I forget. So I'm not great with actors' names for starters, but if you sit there and you're like, oh, this person was this, you sure. Like, cool. And then you're like, oh, it's in Tremors. I got you. I know exactly who you're talking about.
Oh my god.
I don't know what it is.
Obviously you had to have seen this movie so many times. Why? For one, I guess before we jump, why did you pick the Tremors franchise? Why did you pick this franchise?
So I was talking to someone and I was convinced in my head my very first horror film ever was Scream 2. And we were talking about movies, and then I realized, no, my introduction to horror was Tremors. I watched it as a kid all the time. I thought it was funny. I didn't realize it was a horror movie.
You just thought it was a comedy?
I thought it was just some stupid movie on HBO. I was like, whatever. It was on every day after school. So yeah, I watched Tremors, and it typically had Tremors 2 after that. And I was like, great. Like, I'm just going to watch these movies. And it's turned into like, I will watch the first 4 yearly.
Okay.
And it's, me and my dad sat down the other day and we were just talking about random films like this. It's just been with me for so long. It's like, Hellraiser is my favorite film, but for some reason I get really excited when I turn these movies on. So I was like, this is a perfect pick.
It's a I don't want to sit there and say it seems like a guilty pleasure, but it's definitely like it hits that childhood nostalgia for you.
It doesn't feel like a guilty pleasure to me until I start describing the creatures, and then it's like, okay, yeah, all right. I get it. Because I even had someone come visit, and I was doing my yearly like viewing of these, and I had to describe what a graboid is because the first film was on, and I'm like, oh man, like this sounds really dumb.
But the execution is promising and wonderful.
The effects are beautiful and amazing, and yeah, the film just makes me happy. And I'm moving away from indulging a lot of horror that's just kind of there. I'm trying to find stuff that I specifically just love to be around again.
Yeah. It's good to kind of like have that instead of like always being around something of people are like, oh, this is the greatest movie ever. And you're like, eh.
Like, we're talking about the first film, and I'm trying hard not to just have a stupid smile on my face.
I wear it, man. Wear it with fucking pride and everything.
I love it. It just makes me happy.
This is like one of like, you know, one of the great films that started a franchise that you can either stay on the boat and ride it all the way to the very end, or get off it some freaking way. But like even then, like I wasn't able to go back
all the way through.
Yeah, like. When I found out that they were coming out with like more films, I was all like, I don't see how you can surpass Ass Blasters. But prove me
we're
wrong.
definitely we're getting a little far.
We are, but like,
so
when because it was like nearly like it was like almost like a decade long hiatus before they started making these. And when I'm watching them, apparently I think when I watched them, I did not know Bloodlines had already came out. I think A Cold Day in Hell was already out, and I binged them back and forth. I was like, I need more, and then to find out,
they're great.
Yeah, they are.
And
like,
I feel like they capped off the series in a very appropriate way. Like, if they never make another Tremors film,
I'm fine.
I'm actually okay with it.
Yeah. It's like, you don't need a reboot. You don't need a sequel. It ended well.
It ended the way I feel like it needed to end. And every film has that ending that I feel like this is perfect and appropriate for what we had.
Scream 3. And then they made 3 more sequels.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I guess I could sit there and say Friday the 13th. It ended very well with Jason Lives. And then they made more movies. Rest in peace to, bloody hell, I'm forgetting the actress's name, but she played the psychic. She recently passed away.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And everything. She was the only woman, from my knowledge, anyone else can correct me on this and everything. She's the only woman that was able to take Jason on head to head by quite literally lifting him up, by hanging him, electrocuting him, and then dropping him into the freaking basement. Okay, but at the same damn time, she was the motherfucker that awoke his ass to begin with. Like,
I got one better.
You got one better?
I got one better. Friday the 13th, Part 2, Jenny not only got into his psyche, she was the real tour de force in that whole franchise.
Oh yeah,
in the second one, before he was super monster Jason.
Yeah,
pretended to be his mother. Got into his head. It was brilliant.
Yeah, and everything. I think, is that the one, or maybe I'm getting ahead, and maybe it was 4. Where it had the iconic, he got hit in the head with the machete, and then he falls down, and then you watch, his head slide down on the machete.
Yeah, that was later. 2 was the one where he had the pitchfork.
That's right. That's right, because he wouldn't get the iconic mask until 3, which really, that wasn't even him.
2, no, it was him. 5, I believe, where it wasn't him. Okay. 3 was the one where he gets the mask, but 2 was where he had the burlap sack.
Yeah.
Which also, I think, is the scariest Jason.
That's fair. It's very Town the Dreaded Sundown, but, God,
I love that movie. Hated the second one.
The meta requel, whatever the fuck you want to call it and everything. We're jumping ships to multiple freaking franchises. But Tremors, it was a childhood favorite of yours and everything. You absolutely love it. Is there something very specific about the first one that you truly adore?
It's easy. It's an easy film to start. The plot, it's easy to follow. Doesn't matter what age you are, you're good. The plot is, oh my God, worms. That's the entire movie.
Yeah.
Doesn't beat you over the head. It's bad stuff happens. Find out it's these giant worms in the ground that have tentacles coming out of their mouths, and that's it. You could jump in at any point in the film, and then you could you don't have to ask, oh, what's going on? Oh, crazy worms.
Yeah. It's not a complex story. It's a very cut and dry horror narrative.
Which is something that is definitely gone now. Everyone's got to have these crazy narratives in there. It's nope. Worms.
Yeah. And everything.
Doesn't stay that way through the franchise, but...
No, because in Aftershocks, the sequel...
drastically changes everything.
Drastically changes. I think for better.
I do too.
I love the Graboids, but I love the challenges.
For a first film of hey, stay off the ground, and it senses your vibrations, and you're in the middle of the Sierra Nevadas, where there's nothing to protect you. It just was, it wrote itself practically.
Yeah, and for one of the best scenes that I think I really thoroughly enjoy, it's the first time they kill it. Or they kill one of them, and they're trying to run, and they jump into, I think it's supposed to be a drainage, and I think the concrete was just too damn
So
tough.
that's the first death that you can see the iconic orange blood, and you see.
Yeah.
I can swear, right?
Which one?
Can I swear?
Yeah, you can swear.
I'm trying to, just in case I try to watch my language. Yeah, so him, like the main characters, you have Earl and you have Valentine. They jump into that thing. The Graboid crashes in the side, and Kevin Bacon's just like, "Fuck you!" And just like losing his mind.
Yeah, he's like,
It's
"We
so
got you,
good.
we got you." Yeah, and
Even
everything.
that's when they discover what it is, and they dig the whole body up, and they realize it's not just the tentacles; it's this big thing.
Yeah, and it smells like shit too. It's like, you know,
Which is in every film. Apparently, they all smell bad.
I mean, it's a subterranean creature. I don't think it's supposed to smell good. It's supposed to smell.
No, but so once you start getting, oh my god, there's Graboid lore, all right, which already sounds really stupid. Apparently, that is a defense mechanism, especially in the egg and dirt devil stages when they're still developing for survival. Is they smell really bad, so predators can't kill it.
Yeah,
they can't
like,
stand the smell.
It pushes him away and really probably only leaves what scavengers is the only possible. But I don't know how much of scavenger really wants food if it smells as bad as a graboid and everything. Arthur says Precambrian creatures, not
That's such a huge line, I believe, in Tremors 2. It's a Precambrian life form. Miss July, 1989.
Yeah.
I know way too much about these stupid movies.
Tremors 2 Aftershocks. They go from giant worms with 3 tentacles to
Shriekers.
Yeah, Shriekers, which is a cool design. It's a bipedal graboid, but instead of the vibrations where they're previous.
Heat.
Yes.
And I honestly, out of the entire franchise, 2 is my absolute favorite because I feel like that's when Bert becomes like the best version of him.
Yeah.
And the setup is a little bit more complicated because they're not in
Nevada.
They're not in Nevada. They're actually in Mexico, because there's different variants of graboids, which we can talk about as we go on.
Mm-hmm.
But like they had to find a way to one up. Like, how do you one up giant worms? I don't know, little tiny yelly things, and it makes no sense. And someone tried to tell me that the Shriekers were developed, like the tentacles that are in the graboid's mouth, those was what became Shriekers. I'm like, yo, man, I don't think so. But I have no argument against it. I don't think so.
I could kind of sit there and see, I guess, like with the flap thing, but like the tongues, they looked more like horns. So I was like, are you trying to say that the horns have evolved into little flappers and everything?
I have no. Now, only the North American variant has the flappers, but we can get into that.
Okay.
I've spent way too much time researching giant worms online. But so like that, so they go from the worms to the Shriekers that they're, what are they, like sponges. They produce without having sex. I'm drawing a blank on the term. They eat too much, and then they will just kind of barf out another one.
Yeah.
Imagine trying to explain to someone who doesn't even like horror films. I recently had to do this, and they look at me like I'm insane. So they barf out another one, and so it turns into, like, I believe each graboid can hold 3 Shriekers, and then they can multiply at like this crazy exponential rate. So like, they are far scarier than a graboid, in my opinion.
Yeah. They're the ones that, at least with the graboid, you can get up on higher ground to where your vibrations aren't being found. But these fuckers, they'll charge at you the moment they find you on their heat-seeking.
So I guess they can run somewhere above 30 miles an hour. They will attack anything that produces heat. You learn really quickly, even though the graboids can destroy buildings, like in the second film, they start building like a pyramid to climb up each other to get to their prey.
Yeah.
So it's...
They're quick learners.
Unlike what that pilot script said, no, they are very intelligent.
Yeah. And everything. To sit there and say that like they're dumb, it's like, maybe at the beginning they kind of are, because it's like they're learning. Like they're learning our children. Prey can our prey can get up into higher places. That's why our older, our graboid people can't get them. Let's get them off there and let's feed the graboids so we can make more, shriekers, or just eat them themselves and upchuck another child. Which sounds painful and
yeah, the more we talk about it, it's like, yeah, maybe this is a guilty pleasure.
It's like going to a Mexican restaurant, which this movie takes place in Mexico. Going to a Mexican restaurant, eating out like an entire fucking damn table full of food. You have that food baby, and then quite literally it just
you boot and rail, you go again.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, there's another offspring, and you go over there play with your siblings as I make another one.
And then,
oh my god.
Like the second one, I feel like it mirrors the first one in a lot of ways, including like the romance thing, which I think is the most ridiculous thing on the planet. Like just the coincidence. Did you catch everything that was going on with that?
No, not really. I was unable to revisit Aftershocks and everything.
Oh my god!
But
beginning of the film, Earl, like he's being convinced to go down there, and he ends up talking and quoting Miss July 1989, and he actually has the pinup of her pinned to his wall, and he points her out. As you go through the film, you find out that the scientist that he's spending time and kind of crushing on was her.
Really?
Miss July. Yes, that was a big thing. And so when they're on the water tower, like she does the pose and everything. Like it's
for those that are maybe a little bit
so
confused.
Ridiculous.
We're talking about a Playboy playmate, and a parent Playboy playmate is what is Bert? Is it Bert's or was it Fred's?
They're Fred Ward, so Earl's character.
Yeah, it's the Earl
Like
character played by Fred Ward.
it was his life philosophy was based off this woman, and come to find out he meets her in Mexico hunting graboids, and the only reason why he's there is because they're paying him $50,000 per dead graboid.
But I think they're gonna pay him even more if he can at least give them one alive, which it kind of
that kind of 100,000 if they lived.
Yeah,
or 100,000 if they could get a live one.
It kind of mirrors Aliens, where it's like oh, we gotta figure out what happened in his colony. Oh, well, there's an alien life form, and there's that one fucking businessman. It's like, we need to bring an egg back alive. We need one alive. And it's like,
mirrors a lot of like the creature feature style movies. Yeah. Like, it makes fun of it at the same time.
But it doesn't make it seem like it's too like on the nose. It's like, it works in its own ecosystem as a film to the point that you're not like, oh, just like Aliens. It's like, no, you believe it. Like,
the nice thing about all these movies, they like, sure, there's actually some points they try putting in there, like, hey, maybe we should care a little bit about the environment. Hey, there's this. Hey, there's that. But they never beat you over the head with anything they do. It's just like, the point is to have fun, and we'll work these narratives in.
And most of the environmentalists in the film, regardless, they don't last long because they're like, we gotta protect the life, and then bam, they get eaten. Or one of them gets eaten, and then the other one's like, fuck nature, and gets the fuck out.
Except for in 2. That's the only one where she's like, hey, like, these are super important, but gotta live.
Yeah, it's like we can't keep these things alive. They belong back in the time that they once roamed the earth, but today it's like, yeah, no, they're gonna fucking kill people, and we're practically their food. Switching over to the Playboy playmate and Fred Ward's love. This is the film that essentially Bert becomes the lead in for the rest of the entire franchise, because we no longer have Fred Ward or Kevin Bacon. I don't know why they didn't bring Ward back. I guess they figured his story was done, and so there's no reason to bring him.
I don't know. But Michael Gross, I feel like he stole the show in the second one. And I mean, he has the best lines in the film, other than the whole rock rips through paper.
Yeah.
But like, so when they first come out in the Shriekers, and they think he's dead, he finally makes his truck, all the way back to base. They talk about how he's completely out of ammo. That's never happened to me before. Is one of my favorite lines. Or when he shoots his anti-tank rifle and it goes through the Shrieker, a concrete wall, a building, metal drums full of oil, and then through the vehicle, and he's just yelling, how would I have known? Like, he's just great. It's these stupid little lines At the very end of the film, they're gonna blow up all the Shriekers, and they're running. And he's like, "It's gonna be big," and he just keeps booking, and they all like hide behind a building. He's like, "It's gonna be big," and just keeps going. It's so good. He is like the best version of himself in that film.
Yeah, the 2 is definitely where he comes into his own, and
It just makes me happy.
And yeah, and then once 3 comes in, and you get a little bit of, I don't know, I guess you would say the Croc Hunter. I guess they were parodying the Croc Hunter, where he's, I think, still in Mexico, and it's like,
Okay.
we got a bunch of Shriekers, you know.
He was hired by the Mexican government to wipe out a bunch of Shriekers. They come up over the hill, and he's got like a minigun, and he's just mowing them down. But when he's done, he gets to go back home to perfection.
Yeah.
God, this one is so stupid, it's great. Like, this one is really where we get to the point where the films are just dumb, because we went from the Graboid, the Shrieker, and now we have the third one, the Ass Blaster.
Yes.
And yes, that is the official name.
Yes. Also, too, I want to add, Bert didn't really come off quite as military-like in the first film. In the second film, he kind of starts having a few of those military kind of like terms.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Oh, I totally disagree. Like, first when he goes down in the basement, you see all the guns on the wall.
Well, yeah, like
and he's like very anti-conspiracy theory and anti-government, but like,
I guess it just doesn't scream at me at first, because even when I remember watching, especially the first time I watched it, I never really clicked that he was just a military dude. I just figured he's a gun nut that loves to hunt. So he has any and every gun that could kill both man and animal in any other way.
I always thought he was just insane.
I mean, I think perfection
as nuts.
Perfection is where he reaches peak insanity, I think. And then everything else afterwards, it's just kind of retreading. You know, it's all like, people are like, "Are you insane?" And we're all like, "Ah, we watched like the first 3 films. We know this man, that, you know, he's reached the peak with the perfection." Aftershock, I kind of started noticing a little bit more of that. So maybe they just made that a little bit more prevalent. But like with Tremors 3 at the opening, he definitely speaks very like general, you know, he's throwing the military time.
Very General Patton-esque with his speech and his delivery.
Yeah, and I definitely feel like 3, like that's where he's coming into it. It's all like, I'm the lead now, I will take control, you know, regardless of how ridiculous it goes on. And it's like, he'll stay as calm, cool, but at the same time, he's all like, they evolved again. It's all like, you're talking about a Shrieker, right? It's all like, no, it was flying. It was like an ass blaster. And
yeah,
he's like,
the relative of the convenience store owner, I guess a granddaughter or something like that, is the one who named it the Ass Blaster, and he's like, really?
Yeah. And then the love interest I think it's supposed to be for her is like, that sounds like a porno film. It's like,
it's so good. I don't know how many people like in your community have like really watched these films, but I really recommend these films. I know it sounds dumb. You gotta watch it to understand.
They're the film franchise that I feel like you expect them to get dumber and dumber with each entry.
And they do.
Because like you figure with like a film franchise, like let's sit there and take Hellraiser. The first 2 are really good. You know, probably like the best ones ever. There's some people that have issues with Hellbound and Hellheart, but oh well, I enjoy that one.
No, but the first 2 are fantastic.
But when you start getting to 3, it's all like, all right, this is a bit different. Where's Kirsty? You know, and then you start getting more, and it's like, all right, this is getting convoluted. This doesn't make any sense. What the fuck's going on? But when you look at
9 is one of the worst films of all time.
Is that when the Hell World, the one where it's the techno?
Oh no, it's even worse. It's half found footage. That's Hellraiser Revelation.
You mentioned me at found footage, and I just cringed.
But it's half and half. It's so bad.
But Tremors at this point, going from back to perfection, 11 years of this trilogy.
Of a trilogy that still is adding in crazy stuff, because not only do we get the Ass Blasters, El Blanco makes its first appearance in this.
Yes. I
The
love
albino freaking graboid that can't produce and won't turn into shriekers.
yes. I absolutely love El Blanco. It's the perfect yeah, it's definitely on the nose of yeah, this is Moby Dick and he's Ahab, but they have such a wonderful relationship. Now, uh the albino one, he does have a presence in the TV show.
Yes.
That what I do remember. He kind of like
So
comes
for
in.
the TV show, the graboids are considered to be a protected species. It's when they turn into the shriekers that the government gives you full right to like mow them down.
Yeah.
And so like the government is in to make sure that things don't get out of control, and they have to protect El Blanco for part. It's so
Yeah.
it's really not good. They do like tours, like graboid tours.
Which what Back to Perfection also did and everything. There was like the fake tours, and then the moment El Blanco is like, well, now we can't do a fake tour. It's like that's a real thing. It's like, what did you think about that? Of like, of fooling all these people? Because to me, Perfection Valley always kind of came off as a con artist town. In this, it's like after like the big break of the Graboids, it's like, all right,
It's where like snake oil salesmen live and breed.
Yeah, and you have the biggest one with this tour ride where you have like this one damn dude like using, I don't know if it's like an expired like fire extinguisher.
Fire extinguisher because they've determined that graboids do have to breathe, and every once in a while they have to expel air, so that they use that to do that. It's so bad. It's so bad. Sorry, I'm trying hair all over the place. Jay is shedding horribly.
I thought like, you know, that was smart for me as a kid. I was like, ooh, I like this and everything, and then how like they pull the little lines and like all of a sudden it's like the fence is going down and they're like El Blanco's coming, and then it leads him out in the middle of fucking nowhere just to sit there and pitch them a sales pitch for like some like knockoff Gatorade.
Oh, we gotta hunker down. God, it's such a stupid movie.
It is, but it works so fucking well.
It's still so I will sit here and I'll probably sound like the most negative for some of these films, but I still love every one of them. Like even so, we're talking like 4. Is my least favorite in the whole thing. I still love it.
Yeah, I kind of felt like it was a little bit hard with how 4 was pretty much just trying to redo 1, but it's all like when you reach Ass Blaster level.
What else you do?
Yeah. Which I guess then that's kind of like when the Dirt Devils kind of popped in.
So this is the only film that has the dirt dragons in it.
The Dirt Dragons. And
yep, it's the only one.
And I guess like it kind of like makes sense because like they needed something in which I guess the firepower of like the revolvers could actually do some damage. You know,
I think the biggest one they had was an actual like elephant gun. That's they had that, and I think they had some sticks of dynamite, and that's all they had. There were no shriekers, no ass blasters. It was just the Dirt Dragons and the Graboids. That's it.
It was back to square one. What a little twist. Thank you for pointing that out because I probably passed out whenever that happened. All I remember, the last thing that I remember watching from Tremors 4 was when they were making those guys go back into the mines, and Billy Drago's like there, and like they're trying to sit it out.
They determined the whole smell thing was actually in the mines.
Yeah, and like
they reeked of the Dirt Dragons.
Yeah, and it's like the ending is very much a copy of the first one. It's like everyone's up on the roof and everything, and Bert's ancestor, because this is like a Wild West film. And
Hiram. Hiram Gomer is his name. And as he starts the film, the exact opposite of Bert. He is very anti-violence, doesn't like guns, and throughout the film, he turns into the gun nut, and apparently that's just become an ancestry thing. All of the Gomers have been conspiracy gun nuts ever since.
But also, too, this kind of throws in like a little bit of a hole in the logic of, well, then wouldn't Bert know that these things exist from supposed myth of story of, yeah, well, my great-great-granddad killed a graboid. What the fuck's that? It's like a fucking dirt worm with multiple tongues and
that's like, oh, Grandpa.
Yeah, you know, it's all like, oh, it's time to put Grandpa back into the nursing home again, you know, or to go get euthanized.
It definitely kind of like puts a little bit of a, well, hey, wait a minute. But I
Yeah.
feel like they couldn't have done a Tremors film without having.
Bert.
Yeah, he's like Michael Cross was like your big actor. Like, what do you do without him?
It's hard to make a sequel without the heart of it all. He ended up becoming the heart of the franchise. Once 2 came, it was like, all right, this is settled. And then 3, it's like we expected it. 4, it's like what? So
and that's when it's like guaranteed, no matter what, 3, 4, and on, it is him. Like, you in a TV show, same actor, same character.
Yeah. We're gonna try to brush through these next 3, the final 3. Bloodlines, A Cold Day in Hell. I kind of want to tackle those first. So this is like about like a 9-year gap.
So we went from 2001 to 2015.
Yes.
So that's a huge gap in film.
Yeah. Well, I mean, The Legend Begin was 04.
Was
and
04?
everything. Yeah, it was 04.
But still, that's a huge gap.
That's a huge gap.
I never thought we were getting another one.
And I don't know how I feel about this. Like, I was like, over it's like, what else is there to do? And the smart thing that they did, it's all like, well, there's different variants. It's like, well, what do you mean? So this is where
I thought was brilliant because there's a North American version, but now we have an African version that changes the whole system. Like, they're leaner, they're tougher. There is no shrieker stage. Did you catch that?
Yeah, there were no shriekers whatsoever.
Yeah, it's Graboids straight into Ass Blaster, but they're meaner looking. But we have, I thought the weakest part for me is that Bert had a kid.
I actually like that part.
I know they had to do something, but I'm like, and it has to be Jamie Kennedy.
Well, so the first one, I didn't really quite believe it too much for the writing, but I accepted it. Also, too, for the African ones eat themselves. Because there was the scene where there was the big ass blaster on the bridge, and apparently the Graboid mistakenly thought that it grabbed one of its prey, but it grabbed one of its own. But it still ate.
So this is some of the crazy things. So I believe it was in 3. You actually see a Graboid kill an ass blaster because they're a lot more individual when they're hunting. Like, it's all about the hunt. But in Tremors 5, that's when we start getting this thing where all of a sudden, no, like, the lineage is most important. We have, like, the queen Graboid. Yeah. So it's not just a change in look, it's almost a change in attitude for the most part. Like, hey, sure, there's some cannibalism, but lineage matters most.
Yeah. And, again, like, I don't really remember too much of Bloodlines outside of they're meaner, it's a totally different continent, so totally different biology by all accounts. It follows still some of the rules, but it changes it all up for something new.
Changes just enough.
Yeah, it's just enough to keep you interested. And then you get Cold Day in Hell, and this is to me where I think Jamie Kennedy kind of shines a little bit better. I think the writing was just a little bit better compared to it.
Except for Gross took a major backseat.
Yeah.
He has a parasite that could only be cured. But what was it? It's like one of the fluids from an ass blaster, I think.
I believe so.
It was so stupid.
It's very like Escape from New York of like, you gotta stop this. It's all like, I'm retired. He's all like, well, you got a parasite in you and only the juices of an ass blaster can fucking cure you. He's like, damn it, I'm back in the field. It's like, let me get my elephant gun, you know?
and because we're not in like Nevada, Mexico, or Africa, it's still a different variant of all of them, which according to a bunch of people online, they think this was closer to like the alpha version of the Graboid. And then it just kind of branched off from there into the other types.
Yeah.
Like, it's a fun movie. But, like, you can't just be like, well, which Tremors am I going to start with? Well, you don't start with 6.
Yeah, no. I think you have to sit there. I don't know. To me, I think you could start with 1. If you really want
films, you grab any of them and you're like, okay, I can watch this.
Like,
but
they're able to constantly remind you of the rules, but I feel like if you really want a stronger understanding, you watch them all in order, and then you start seeing what they take away, they pull up, they pull apart. what
But
they
for
keep.
5, 6, and 7, you have to watch. You have to watch all 3 of them in order. You can't just be like, "Oh, I'm going to watch Aftershocks," because you could watch that at any point. And like, yeah, this is just a fun movie.
Yeah.
These are way more dependent on you have to watch the previous one.
There is a stronger continuity story in between each of these. And even though I enjoyed Jamie Kennedy in this a lot more, I really want to sit there and see. I wanted to see one that more or less kind of had it where like they were both like both shared more screen time and like because when I heard that Shrieker Island came, I was like, all right, well, this is gonna be the last time that Jimmy Keegan gonna see his dad.
Yeah, I thought this was going to be like the send off to like, hey, we're going to make Jamie Kennedy the new face.
Yes.
And then he wasn't attached at all.
Because he was filming something else, I think so. Or I think he was on a comedy tour. So they couldn't bring him back.
Yeah, something like that. And I was like, what? Then don't do the film right then. Like,
yeah.
It was a bad idea.
So they get John
Heater. This one is a bummer for me. Like, I love this movie too, but it's a bummer because of the ending. I don't know if we want to get into spoiled like territory on that one.
I mean, we kind of like dipped into some spoilers with some character stuff, but like, yeah, like Jamie Kennedy's character doesn't come back. He's not really informed.
I thought he was in jail for this one. Was that the character that was in jail?
Was it?
I get smuggling mushrooms or something like that.
I only seen Shrieker Island once, and I think.
Yeah, I watched it once, and the ending just kind of hurt.
Yeah, but
to
at the
me,
same time,
this one felt a lot like Phantasm Ravager. It's like, this is the end of an era.
It's like this is it. You're not going to get no more. Even though Michael Gross keeps sitting there saying, well, as long as I'm in good health, I can do some more of these. I was like, no, look at you fucking bones. All you need to do is like step wrong and you'll break your damn ankle, being chased by Graboids.
Okay, so spoiler warning. Can I spoil the end of the film?
Sure.
How can he come back and do more? He's dead.
Exactly.
Dude.
So, Shrieker Island, again, tries to do a new spin. This one, the Shriekers are actually far bigger. Like,
so they are genetically bred to be more dangerous because this guy wants to hunt the different stages.
Yeah.
Which, okay, I think that's a cool premise. I really do. It's like, okay, far off island, very Jurassic Park.
Very, man is the most dangerous creature, but in this sense, it's Shrieker. It's the most dangerous.
Like, it's a really cool idea.
It's not really executed very well, mostly because I think this is where it becomes very CGI heavy. Less practical.
I did look at my notes, by the way. Travis, who is Jamie Kennedy's character, is unable to help due to being arrested in Mexico.
Nothing good ever happens in Mexico. It's either Shriekers or...
Shriekers are drug smuggling, apparently.
Yeah. But Shrieker Island is very much Jurassic Park. And I'm trying to remember what the hell's the name. Is it called... No, it's not Heart of Darkness. I can't remember the name of the literature one, but it's like, man is the most dangerous creature, and it's like that.
I got nothing.
I can't remember what the hell it's called.
The strongest point of this film, though, is Bert doesn't have his usual array of weapons.
Yes.
So he actually, I think it's a World War I or World War II bunker.
Mm-hmm.
And, so I think they have, a couple of flamethrowers. They got nothing.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes it the most interesting. It's like, oh, what can Bert do when he doesn't have, a machine gun?
Because he always has a plan.
Anti-tank rifle.
It's like that big old myth of, what if you take away Batman's prep time? So you took away,
That's not Batman, I'm sorry.
But Bert always had prep time. He's like, if I have prep, if I know what the situation calls, give me prep time, I will fucking take care of the issue. He doesn't because he's thrown into this. And I think at one point, they throw him in a cage. They leave him half naked, or I think that was
in a mine shed. No, it was in that bunker. He gets locked in the bunker.
Yeah,
him and a couple other people. It's like I thought it could have been. This could have been such a cool passing of the torch.
Yeah.
And hey, this is why you become the prepper that I am.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of what I was hoping for, and
But-
it just didn't happen.
One thing I could not even buy in here was John Heater. It's like go back to doing another, or go do. Did they already do a sequel to the Benchwarmers? I think they did. It's like, go do a sequel to that. It's like, I can't believe you as an actor. And after seeing that in Napoleon Dynamite, it's like, those are the only roles I can see him in.
Well,
No shame
so this
towards
is like
him.
some nitpicky writer stuff that I feel like maybe you would understand. So we have had some very, I'm gonna say, interesting names, very redneckish names for the most part. We've had Earl, we've had Valentine, Bert, even Bert's kid is Travis, and then for John Hetter's character we have Jimmy. Jimmy does not sound like he could hold his fucking own. I am sorry. We got Jimmy. There's a Freddy in that movie because I have my notes open.
Yeah, Jackie Cruz is Freddy. At least Richard Brake gets the name Bill. At least that sounds very Western-y.
Yeah, Bill.
You know, Bill.
But,
Which to
you know
me,
what I mean?
Richard Brake is like one of the best parts of this movie, right next to
Big the one. Yeah,
obviously
shining
Michael
moment.
Gross, but like Richard Brake can play the biggest asshole.
I like this film, but I feel like they lost the plot.
Yeah. And
Which is a bummer.
I do believe that if you've seen these the previous two films, if you've seen Bloodlines, which again going back to I feel like almost every horror franchise they have to have one sequel that's called Bloodlines. It's like
Hellraiser 4 is Bloodline.
Yeah, and then I think one of the Puppet Master films is Bloodlines or Blood Wings, something like that. But yeah, no, like looking at this, it doesn't do it any justice. But in the end, the queen gets trapped. She swallows Bert. Bert has plastic
Blows up with
explosive.
dynamite.
Yeah, and that's the end of this franchise.
Which is like the right way for him to go.
Yes, he has to
In
go
a
out.
big explosion. This is it.
Agree.
That, and I'm glad that, like, so again with like the Phantasm series, like when they were filming that last one, the tall man was like Angus Scrimm was just too old and couldn't do a lot, and it took a lot away. Like, I'm glad they got this one done when they did before he is too old to do the role.
Yeah,
and to do the send off. So there was that.
But
what if I told you there was a video game,
okay,
and a canceled video game of Tremors?
I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
So we had Dirt Dragons.
Yeah.
They didn't even call it Tremors. It was a mobile game. You can't even look up the original website. It's gone.
Okay.
There was a game coming out. They were trying to, again, anyways, for the Xbox, the GameCube, and the PS2 called Tremors. It was a third-person survival horror where, of course, your enemies are Graboids and Shriekers. No footage. No footage of the game exists.
Is there any details of how far they were into it?
Nope.
No? Like, not even, like, documents?
Here's the best I got for you. Ready?
Okay.
Loosely tied to the TV series in a way, just because of the timing of it. Independent story, a community called Golden Rock. I have now given you all the information I have on Tremors, the game.
I just feel like that was
also being worked on. Rock Solid Studios was doing it.
I just then felt like that was like a pitch at like maybe like a drink, like a what is it, like a mixer. He's like, I got a game
Water
for
cooler
you.
Conversations almost.
Yeah, you know.
They even had a publisher lined up who is a company that I don't know at all. Conspiracy Entertainment. Not known for a whole lot of adult games. Tiny Toon Adventures on the GameCube, Animaniacs, that kind of thing.
Was it like a TCM or an AVP style game? I think I remember something like that. I have no clue.
I've given you everything now. That's all the information that I can say is real.
I think
because I don't
today's
think
market,
it probably got into like the planning stage,
Yeah.
And then when they started doing development, it got nixed.
Yeah. They were probably, it's like we got probably bigger projects on our hands already. It's like,
Well,
we'll put it on the back
pie in
burner.
the sky idea. You know, like, okay, yeah, we'll make a Tremors game. Well, how do you make a Tremors game good?
I mean, you know what? If you're able to do it with The Thing, with John Carpenter's The Thing, I think you would have been able to sit there and do it. But like, I don't think
that game sucks. I hate that game. I hate that game.
Oh
I told them the re-release, they did some quality of life fixes, but man, that PS2 version is awful.
That's what I've heard. It's like some people that played, they sit there say that the remaster plays it a lot better, but there are still like some bugs and hiccups that like they couldn't fix for some reason. And I'm all like, it's like, you know what? I think at this point, because of what Bethesda did with Oblivion, I don't think any other company has anything to say. It's like they call it a remaster. No, that's a remake. That's a remake. They just probably borrowed some of the audio lines, because I even heard that there was like audio lines that were like little bloopers that were like, you know,
they kept in the game for people who knew they were there. Like, which is cool.
Yeah, you know.
See, I just don't know how you make Tremors a game. A TV series makes sense. When you want to come back? Hi.
My thing is, it's like you would have to have an outlandish narrative that sadly takes it out of survival horror, and like you have something on the fence of like, what the hell's it called? The, you know, fighting for freedom. Helldivers. It would have to be something like Helldivers.
See, I was thinking almost in the vein of Overlord. So that would be Rihanna Pratchett, I think, was the writer for that, Terry Pratchett's daughter.
Yeah.
With like a little bit of whimsy and tongue-in-cheek.
Yeah. So I feel like either way, which they did do a Starship Troopers that kind of, in a sense, does like Helldivers. But I felt like the only way that you could really make a Tremors game, like, really enjoyable, it's probably you're going to be killing the majority of Ass Blasters and Shriekers. And there's probably certain areas
don't make any sense to me.
Well, the Graboids are probably like more or less going to be like, oh, here's like a platforming thing where you get eaten. Yeah, you know, or if you do fall, you have a certain amount of time before you better get your ass up, because it's hauling that shit pretty fast. That's the only way I could sit there and see that. But folks, we are going to sit there and wrap up this very, very wonderful franchise. If you guys have any questions for our guest speaker, definitely sit there and drop them in, and we'll sit there and we'll get those right off to Adam. God, now like covering a franchise, this makes me really want to go through and cover like other franchises that like don't get enough love.
Anytime you want to do this, I am so on board. By the way, I'm just throwing it out there.
Because like you bring this up, and it really also makes me like, I really want to cover the Puppet Master franchise. That's a franchise I'm in love with. And I mean, even though there are some sequels that try to retcon things, it's like, yeah, no, it's like the only thing I can think of is AVP 2000/DVD. Like on one side you have Survivors, on the other side's Grab. Ooh.
No, thank you.
You know what though? I would like that if one person can actually sit there and play a Graboid, and if they eat them, maybe they have to eat 2 players down and they evolve into a Shrieker. And then
I had this idea where if they made an actual Tremors game, I would never want to play a human. I would only want to play a Graboid.
Well, you know what? They also did it for Jaws.
I would say, like, there's Jaws Unleashed, Maneater. I would want that style of game.
Yeah, where you actually play as the monster.
That would be the most fun. Like, oh yeah, you could stop a Graboid, or you could play as a giant worm.
And add a sort of narrator over all of this in the sense of the Stanley Parable.
See, if they did that, get Michael Gross to do their narration over it.
Yeah.
And turn it into a what-if scenario.
Yeah. And everything. It's all like, you know, you remember Valentine, right? It's like, man left Perfection Valley. Oh, never mind. And it's like, you just ate Kevin Bacon.
It would just be fun. Like, yes. I love that idea. Like, don't make it a serious game. Don't make it jump scare heavy. Turn it into Maneater and just make it fun. Ow, yeah. That's a cord. Ow.
But folks, if you guys don't have any more questions, then we are going to sit there and wrap it up and everything. We're going to Adam, I have no clue why I referred to you by horror. Adam, where can people find you on the socials?
Yeah, so I'm all over the place. One word on YouTube, The Horror Historian. That's where I am found the most. We do long format videos, live streaming on Twitch. I am horror_historian. Yeah, I'm all over the place.
Yeah, definitely sit there.
Instagram, Twitter. I refuse to do Blue Sky because I really suck at social media to begin with.
Yeah.
So it's like, got another one. Ugh, I don't even do Twitter well. I don't want to pick up another one.
I only now use Blue Sky to like drop maybe some of my content creation. That'll probably like change this month with Actor Spotlight. But like,
I should, but I just can't.
I feel like I mostly, if it's not like cat photos or art, then I'm just shouting out all the people I support on Twitch. You know, well, look at Predator Hunting Ground. Yeah, but Predator Hunting Ground also try to be serious. There were some fucking funny as shit moments in that damn game, but yeah, Predator Hunting Ground.
Never played it. I think
Oh,
I have it
no.
somewhere.
I'm thinking a different one. Predator Hunting Ground was one that was kind of like a DVD where you played as the Predator,
Right.
and you had people. The one I'm thinking of is Concrete Jungle, which that's a good one. I enjoyed that one. I enjoyed ripping people's spines out, Scorpion style, with the Predator. But folks, you can find me as the Gothic Storyteller on all of the socials. Blue Sky, Twitch, YouTube, which I will be working on making content, and hopefully me and Adam can do more collaborations in the future that are
always down.
that are film and video game related. I forgot what was it. I think that I wanted to pitch something towards you. I forgot what the hell it was. I know we were talking about Clive Barker at one point, but my brain's evading me. It'll probably pop up when I'm editing this. And I was like, son of a bitch.
Speaking of which, just to do a quick little plug, there is a Clive Barker video coming out this Friday on my YouTube channel. It's covering 4 of the released Clive Barker games, and then discussing a canceled one that not many people know about.
I can't wait. I can't wait.
This Friday.
Thank you guys again so much for being here. I freaking truly appreciate you guys on our last live show of the year. I say this now, I still kind of think that maybe if I can find a interesting guest for October, I'll do it, you know, for like the holidays. It's like, we'll have our special Halloween episode, or, you know, who knows and everything, what comes on.
Special one-off, so that way you don't have to do it live all the time. Makes sense.
Exactly, and everything. Because our next episode is going to be offline recording, and you know what? Like, I definitely cannot wait to, like, just feel a little bit more relaxed. I'm relaxed now. But a little bit more relaxed when I don't have to worry about, you know, reading chat, or it's like, hey, it's like, am I live? Did my internet die? You know, something like that, you know.
You can fix things like audio, and it's not a big deal.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, and everything. But thank you guys again for watching, and we'll catch you guys all later. Have a good one.